9 out of 10 women actually say they'd like to learn more about finance.
And I always tell this to men that whether you're in a relationship, on a date, married, you want to be talking to women about finance early and often.
Couldn't agree more. Last week we're at a restaurant, our anniversary. She says, how's the food tasting? I say, great, but what's really great is the effects of compound interest, and I begin to elaborate. She changed the subject to some gossip at work. I put my finger over her mouth, I start to shush her, and I just kind of go back to the basics. I explain to her what exactly the money supply is. Let her know that more money in circulation does not actually mean a change in real wealth, assuming velocity of money remains constant.
Yeah, and you know what? I've been there where she takes it back. She says, look, I lied. I don't want to learn about this stuff. I want to watch Real Housewives over on the TV. And then I have to tell her, we're actually using the TV for me to analyze charts right now of various altcoins. And it's important that you learn about the blockchain because we're going to Bitcoin Miami next year. I buy you tickets for your birthday.
The other day, we're on a hike. I say, you want to see a real hike? You should take a look at what the Fed is doing to interest rates and the effect that might have on real estate. She starts ignoring me, grabs her phone, she goes back on TikTok. I take the phone out of her hand, I get down on one knee. She looks at me and she says, are you about to propose? Oh my God. I say, yes, I am about to propose that you learn about the tax advantages of depreciation in real estate. She storms off. I chase after her. I obviously don't want her thinking that you can write off the land, which you cannot, but at that point she had taken off and I've not seen her since.
The reason why I found that so funny is that that's not unlike most conversations I have with anyone I'm talking about. They could say the sky is blue and somehow I'll change blue to orange and end up talking about the kind of Duke's practicing in the piano upstairs. I don't know if you can hear that. So funny and so true. Now, the thing about old Zuckerberg is that this luxury of having time to ponder, should we, it's a proposal. I'd like to propose that we take some of our melting ice cube treasury and put it into a hard asset. I'd like to propose it. The fact is that he's proposing it. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I don't know if the piano got me sidetracked. We'd like to propose this. And right now, I think that they have too many legacy boomer investors that like him trying to propose Bitcoin to them. They're just like, no, I don't like that. But this is where I come full circle to what I always talk about ad nauseum about losers. Here he goes, talking about losers. And now, one might say that Zuckerberg monetarily is one of the biggest winners in the world, and I agree with you. However, he's still a loser. He's still a loser in his heart of hearts, and he always has been, and he probably always will, but he's trying, right? So when I saw him doing jiu-jitsu, I knew something would change in him because jiu-jitsu is like Bitcoin. It does change you. As a man, you're a different man after training jiu-jitsu. For example, when you walk into a gym to learn jiu-jitsu, you are instantly humbled by your lack of knowledge on something physical, right? And I think that instigates the little dry testosterone maker in you that's drying up every day because you realize you have a new mountain to climb. And when you walk in and you get pretzeled up by someone half your size, but seems like twice your strength, it's humbling. And that humbling nature of jiu-jitsu or anything physical, boosts the testosterone, so to speak. You now have something to strive for, and I think most men fare best in the world when there's a mountain to climb and there's a challenge, because we love challenges. Happiness is overcoming something. That's how people can you hear Duke. That's how men are happy, with challenges and overcoming challenges. So this is why I think him being a loser in his heart of hearts, right? Monetarily speaking, he's won the game. He's won the money game, so to speak, for now. But that is at risk too. Now, how can he, being a loser, become the perceived alpha male of all the tech bros who are all losers too? Buying Bitcoin. So if he were to come over the top and say, guess what? Not only would he be the Bitcoin OG all of a sudden. He may even eclipse Michael Saylor to a certain degree with his rambunctious. Now, I don't think he'll put all $72 billion in it. I just don't think he has the shareholder gumption. I'm not sure if he has enough. Is he 50% of Facebook? I'm not sure. However, put to a vote, I know that BlackRock is a massive shareholder, institutional shareholder in Facebook. So maybe the massive shareholders in Bitcoin would overpower the boomers going, I don't want any Bitcoin in my legacy stocks. But this is where he, like I always say, loser men are always trying to maintain significance in the perception of other people, right? So you can win in the money game. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not perceived as cool to your peers or to strangers, because this is the difference between someone who's a loser and someone who is a winner, and they're very loose terms. I don't mean you're a loser. I think you get what you mean. So the losers always have something to prove, whether it doesn't matter how much money they get or how much clout they need to be significant amongst their peers and amongst women and amongst men. They have to be, that cliche about alpha males. It's like every woman wants to be with them and every man wants to be like them. That's what most of these men try to be like, unless you're a winner. And now a winner is usually, they don't give Fs about how they're perceived. They steamroll their personality and their life into the world, and that's the huge difference between these two types of males, right? So in his effort to be more significant than his other loser tech bros, he'll come over the top, the third belt. Is that it? No, the third rope. Like Randy Macho Man, run Randy Macho Man Savage over, and just come over the top with a massive Bitcoin buy. Because guess what? Now guess who's invited to Bitcoin Las Vegas or Bitcoin Prague or Miami? Mark Zuckerberg. Would he ever be invited pre-buying Bitcoin? Never. In fact, he's almost persona non grata amongst most of the Bitcoin community because we're all about no censorship, sovereignty. We don't want any tech gatekeepers. And I have a feeling, Duke is going crazy up there. What is he playing? Feels like the bottom. See, I just hear music and the math changes in my mind and I can't stay on topic. Back to Zuckerberg and jiu-jitsu, I bet you it was on the mats where he had a dose of reality. So for instance, when he's sitting there and he's just a small concentric circle cuck. So whenever it changes, he just rolls with the punches. That's what they do. They just, what do I got to do now to stay? Okay, I'll do it. So censorship all aboard. So I bet you insulated with his staff of blue-haired nostril ring people, all he thought was he was doing right? And to a certain degree, not having the testosterone to understand and not care what people think, he is going with the flow. And so it wasn't until, this is just my complete speculation, obviously, it wasn't until the mats where he got humbled through jiu-jitsu that one of the jiu-jitsu bros probably said off the cuff, while he's huffing and puffing, must suck to be hated so much by the general population. And then that's when Mark was like, what do you mean? Like, well, I mean, the way Facebook just censors everyone, everyone hates it. Like, it's just basically for old people now. He's like, what? And that's when the light turned on. It's like, oh my God, my perception from the general population is that I'm a loser and nobody likes me. How can that be? I'm one of the most richest man in the world. That can't be. And then he course corrected and he had to change. And so in my bizarre speculative delusion, it is on the jiu-jitsu mats where Mark Zuckerberg got his first taste of humility, and then he course corrected in order to be the man he wants to be, because everybody wants to be the man they want to be. They don't want to be a cuck to a concentric circle of power and money. They don't want to bend the knee to whoever is above them. You know, the alpha male, so to speak, doesn't care who's above or below. They're just maintaining their course. And this is my life's meaning. And this is why, you know, things change. And then as a man, you come up. What does he play now? You come up against walls and you have to get over them. If you don't get over them, you're stuck, right? And this is one of the reasons why anyone does anything, especially from a male point of view. I mean, the reason I'm still on YouTube is just because I can't figure it out. You know, like I said before, once I figure it out, I'll probably be done. But until then, I'll keep hammering away at it. Scotty Moe, Mark Zuckerberg. Exactly, right? That's how it is. And he doesn't, imagine him being at the top of the monetary game. So to a certain degree, as loser tech bros, you won. You won that small game, but you didn't win life, because if you don't have the perception of the general population that you're a good person, what does it matter, right? Now, vice versa, if you're an alpha male, whatever that is, alpha male winner, let's just call it, you don't care about the perception. You could be down the wrong road and everyone could hate you and you still don't really care, because, you know, you've got a plan and no one's going to kind of stop it. And eventually you'll probably get to the right way through your own versus Wick's wife. You guys have supersonic hearing. I don't hear Duke practicing and I have Matty playing on the soundbar. Well, do you have the sub hooked up, Wick's wife? Because if the sub's hooked up, it must sound pretty sweet right now. I think he just stopped. I think because I told him, I said, I'll call you if we get 100 likes. If we don't get 100 likes, we're not going to get Duke playing. So he's practicing. Isn't that heartbreaking? Really? He's like, why am I should probably practice. He didn't come out yesterday. We didn't get 100 likes, unfortunately. Wick's wife, no sub hooked up. Let's do some TA already. Let's bear back this chart. So it looks like we're having what some legacy analysts call a little pump, and we're finally over the 200 moving average. I've been saying this till the cows come home. Until we're over the 200, who cares what the price is doing? Because, you know, you zoom out in this 4-hour noisy little so-and-so, we're just range bound. You know, unfortunately, like it or not, the market's not really doing anything. Yeah, it's maybe in a more of a bearish trend, but it's still just mincing words in a chop suey channel of about 10%, right? So you get a 5% move up. It's not really doing anything. We are getting a rejection from 99.4. Now, it wouldn't surprise me to come down around the 200 moving average tester for support. You know, we want to stay above it. We go below it, we're effed, right? Then we will probably go retest this channel of support at 92.5. We look at the 20 moving average crossing bullish over the 50, but isn't the 50 crossing bearish over the 20? Isn't that your chocolate and my peanut butter? Isn't my peanut butter and your chocolate? So essentially, we are back above. That is bullish for the quant bots, right? So in a range like this where nothing's moving, basically this would signal the quant bots to start, you know, exercising their buy algos. And then we get these, you know, thousands and thousands of micro buys coming in from all over. And not really humans, not really retail, obviously, no retail. But then again, you know, until we're over 102.2, this is a lower high, which, although bullish, is bearish, because we are proving to the market quant bots that we can't get over our previous high, and that will signal the bear execution of the cells, the thousands of microcells. Over on the ding dong, we are in the head and shoulders pattern of all head and shoulders pattern. And I don't think we'll be out of it until we're above 102. Was this 105? Yeah, no, 102.2, right. Until that, we are still, this can extend, you know, so let's get rid of it. Put a new one in here. Right. That's just the right shoulder. And until we're kind of, we're breaking out of this doodle, you know, one might say this last arbitrary doodle I just put in. We're breaking out of it, but we got to be above here to really start putting in maybe a channel of ascension, which does break bearish most of the time. But, however, we have negated this bear flag right here, which did play out to 82.4. Now, huge washout before January 20th. Who said that? I didn't say that. Maybe I was thinking it. It'd be nice to get control of my brain. Maybe not so much coffee in the morning so I can, hold back those things. Mr. Mark, smash the like so we can hear Duke play. I think the problem is we only have we have 110 on YouTube right now, so half of those likes. It comes fast. This trigger phase, boom, boom. That's stream over. Welcome, Wick's wife, Mr. Mark, Black Hat Team, Jimmy Coco, Randy Abite, Randy Hipper, Alex O Crypto, another Canadian TA master. So this, I think the biggest takeaway from this week is that we managed to fight just by the hair of our skinny chin, by the hair of our chinny chin, making another 3 dead soldiers. Now, every time we did the 3 red candles in a row, we did put in a lower low. That's just how that works. So we did manage to squeak it out. Now this is, I'm going to get rid of head and shoulders guy here. This is by the hair of our chinny chin. I would argue that maybe it's not really. It is green. It is green, just green, right? But to me, it has more bullish prowess because it fought back from a massive low of 89.1, was it? Something like that. Not 88.8. Some exchanges said 88.8. Mine didn't because with TradingView, every single chart's got to be in a different exchange for some reason, or else it'll copy all the things. And maybe that's just me not knowing how to use this stupid thing. Anyway, so to me, the bullish prowess is that we fought back from this low and put in and closed green. I mean, that's the best we could have done with those 3 days in a row. And then since then, we've been pretty bullish. However, in order for me to start having a bullish parade and get those floats going down Main Street with all the bulls, we got to get over 102.2. Until then, it's just a lower high. And ain't nobody got time for lower highs. That's just like if that happens, we're in just one of these guys. Zoink. Right? We don't. I'm not even going to leave that there. Because I know how much the universe listens to these charts. And it's like, oh, man, he's putting in that line of resistance. We should probably obey it. And then over on the weekly, if we were to close this or above, we would put in a nice little bullish engulfing candle over last week's BS, right? This is what my takeaway from this candle, if there is one, is that it's almost even though it has a fat body, it's pretty spinning topish. You got big wicks on both ends. So it was to a degree, it was just a synopsis of how the market isn't doing anything. A lot of bears, a lot of bulls, push back, buy, sell. At the end of the day, nothing really happened. So to have this bullish engulfing candle to me it says that we may be following this doodle that I put in who knows how long ago, but it seems to be respecting the doodle, right? That's the next T-shirt, Randy Hipper, respect the doodle. I think that's what we'll make. Now, I wanted to kind of go back in time on this weekly before we say goodbye without Duke. 70 likes. So this is January, doing nothing of a bull run, right? Doing nothing of a bull run. If we go back to the bull run 2021, let's maybe get this faster here. Come on. Where were we in January? Here we were, January. Look what we have here. A whole month of really, compared to the bull run, there's more movement here, because we were smaller prices, so the price swings were quite bigger. Yeah, candle to candle, 15%, right? So actually, that's not too bad. Wick to wick. Wick high to wick low is more of, holy smokes, 30%. Remember 30% pullbacks? Yeah, that is actually natural in a bull market, but it's not natural in this one. We haven't yet experienced it. You can imagine how everyone would lose their ever-loving mind if there wasn't one. But candle to candle is what I like to, because the wicks are, this is back when retail was in the market. Remember when retail people would ape in and ape out at the wrong time, because that's what retail does. That's what those wicks are. So candle to candle, 15%. So that was January of a bull run, right? Hey, we're like, when is this going to take off? I thought this was a bull run. Everyone's promising me great riches, right? And so we're not doing too different than back then. We are in a bull run, and the first half of this January is basically nothing. Let's see if there is a similar wick, candlestick to candlestick. I would assume that it's maybe 5% or so. Yeah, 6%. Now, the range itself is 10%. So we're in a 10% range. It feels like a heavier swing range than 10%, doesn't it? To me, it does anyway. But it's really only 10%. So, I mean, this is like Betty Bye time, right? The market goes like this. Everyone falls asleep. And then you get a bunch of bearish dopium coming into the atmospheres, like, oh, this is it. Everyone starts to get bearish. And then the sentiment changes and you start becoming very bullish, because you realize, like, you go through the stages of grief when we start consolidating. It's like, oh my God, maybe I made a mistake. Oh, this can't happen. Oh, I'm so stupid. I shouldn't have done this. Oh, I should have took profits, right? And then you start realizing, wait a second. Cool your jets. We are in a bull market. We are consolidating, and there's no big deal. It's nothing to worry about. It's 2025. This is the year of the bull. So the only thing you have to, when you can't sleep at night wondering if there's going to be an exponential banana zone to this breakout, the only thing that would, if it didn't happen, it would be the first time ever, right? Not to say that there's a first time for everything, but it would be the first time everything. And if you're a historical, fractaliciously speaking type of so-and-so, you go with the fractal in the history until it's broken. And to me, it's not broken till it is broken. We'll see what happens today. We have the CPI. Okay, so this is the last. This is a little bearish. Now, I'm assuming that maybe this is a result of the CPI coming out. I don't know what it was. Maybe you guys, if you quickly go on Twitter, you'll see what the CPI came out. And so maybe it's slightly on par or bullish, but however, I don't like I don't like a bullish fundamental, even though it's probably negative, right? You know what I mean? In this backwards world, it's probably negative. I don't like it coming up at a upswing, because usually it becomes a bull trap. Remember I said I don't like bull traps, but that's what it can be on an upswing. We kind of bake into the CPI, because as a pro trader, which I'm not, pro traders know what the CPI was before it came out, right? If you didn't know what the CPI was before it came out, it's because you're not a pro trader, and that's the difference between pros and non-pros. However, keep your papers on the 200 moving average. Above it, we're bullish. Below it, we're bearish. And if you haven't bought any Bitcoin by now, well, you probably should, just in case this wacky little internet magic money takes off.
Make sure you like and subscribe.